Well, we will keep you up to date with what is going on regarding to who can win not only this group, but also the other ones out there. As always, if you do want to check out any particular matchup, we've managed to hype up any of those well enough that you're like, you know what, I want to go and check that out. Well, go ahead, go and check out the Rocket League channel. I'm sure they are all around and all ready in their matchups as we do get in to Moist versus G1. And lots of questions to be asked. Astral, well, he had a lot of questions asked about him, Johnny, going into the major. He's proven to everybody he's still that player.
Yeah, he really did, I think, have a fantastic 2022 calendar year. Just finishing off with that second place at the major with Moist. You know, he's one of the few players who's had success with two separate rosters throughout the calendar year, of course, with Carmine Corp before then. So this is another chance for him to show that he can do it with another roster. Of course, it's still with Joyo, but with Juicy added, you're changing out a lot there, playstyle-wise. I like Juicy as a match for Joyo and Astral. I feel like Joyo's going to be a lot more confident going forward with Juicy behind him. Juicy's a very smart player, very positional player. And of course, there's no stopping Astral. It doesn't matter who you put him with, he's going to be sending every single attack forward as quickly as he can.
We did hear from Rise, who is the player that did leave Moist, also speaking on his own stream, that it didn't quite click between the three of them. Somebody had to play defensive. Rise felt like he was the one that had to, and he did not feel comfortable with that. And neither is G1 under the position that they were put under. Is Juicy going to be a player that is a little bit more, one, happy to play that position and also good enough to do it?
I think both. I'd say yes to both. I think he'll be quite happy to do that. Juicy is just one of those players that whenever I see him playing, he just seems to be just happy to do whatever needs to be done. He's kind of a glue player, and he knows that Astral and Joy are both players who lean towards the offense if they can. Look at this from Dorito. Almost getting the reset double there. Moist just had to watch and wait for that one. Yeah, don't get it twisted. You know, Juicy's got mechanics and offense as well. I just think that he has to be that guy for Moist. It's been clear. They've said it themselves. Rise, like you mentioned, he said it. They didn't have a priority defender. They didn't have anyone who was willing to take that role. So it's very obvious to me that Juicy has to be the guy. I think he will be.
G1, they have been put under a few rough positions, but still no goals to speak of over here in this match. As we mentioned, right on that cusp. We've already spoken at length about Mark, about sort of the revenge tour that he's doing on the RLCS right now, but he's got two players with him that still haven't quite had that big opportunity. Dorito especially, I feel like, is the one who came onto everybody's radar last season. Not far off from making it over to that major. Instead, he's going to come into this split fully ready to try and take advantage. Do that by getting the win here. Skip out on an awful lot of the difficulties that come from playing an extra round with your tournament lives on the line. Reminder of everybody, seeds 2 and 3 from every single one of these groups will be playing again today. If you got seed 1, then you are done. We will see you tomorrow if you got seed number 4. Well, I shouldn't say seed number 4, I should say position 4, because that's entirely different. Joyo puts it in. Not going to make that easy at all.
Look at this from Juicy. Just cuts rotation up front, slams it into the corner wall in offense, and that's completing a great 1-2 passing play with Joyo. Now, before Juicy joined this roster, Joyo himself pointed at him as one of the next up in Europe. He loves playing with him, and you know, these kind of plays where the two are synergizing so well early on in their time together in Moist. Promising. This is what they need to bounce back from that crushing reverse sweep they just suffered in the previous round.
I'll clear something up as well, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. Moist can guarantee themselves that group victory with a 3-1 win here. If they do that, nothing else matters. If, however, we see 2 wins for G1, then things get a little bit more interesting and we have to do a little bit more explaining. If G1 win it, then no explaining needed whatsoever. They will win the group. So basically, if we see game 5, we just get very confused for a little while and we'll probably deal with the problem later.
Yeah, we're just going to have to hope that that doesn't happen for our sakes. But then again, yeah, I'm kind of torn on that because I love a game 5, so it would be phenomenal to see in the group stage. Juicy almost able to catch a reset off that ceiling bounce. It does just drop down to Joyo instead. Who's running a bit low here for a couple of the G1 members. That's limiting their challenging capabilities, making them panic ever so slightly as well. Moist looking for a second here, but without overextending. They're taking their turns, looping back around that halfway line. They've really settled into this one now. I think G1 rattled them early, but Moist have looked like the better team for the second half of this game.
We're going to see Atomic give it one more go. Astral on the backboard. Sees the ball away. Juicy yet again clears. Time ticking away. G1 losing out on the manpower needed. Joyo in. Can't quite finish the game off. Up to Mark with his one boost and, well, 0 car to make something happen. The ball's still alive, but Joyo, is he feeling merciful? No, not quite. He's not going to keep that one in the air. Moist 1, G1 0.
Perfect start for Moist. They needed this. They needed this badly. G1 had them on the ropes early on. Maybe missed their opportunity to catch Moist before they could swing the momentum back in their favor. But a really well-rounded performance there from Moist to take game one. In the end with a clean sheet.
All right, Leaf, what is happening around the field?
Yeah, a lot of other matches got their first results in right now. Oxygen taking their first game against German Amigos, saying, hey, you're not the only strong team here. So that's a good look for Oxygen. Sonics and Saw tied 1-1. K-Corp Team Vitality tied 1-1. And then we have Williams Resolve taking a win over Solary. Quadrant is down game. Team Liquid took the first one, so it looks like maybe a bit of a late start for Team Liquid. And Tundra did take the first game against Team Vertigo. But they're tied up in game 2.
Okay.
Which is exciting. I'm just really excited about this Vertigo squad.
I feel like you're revealing your Team Vertigo fandom here. Like,
yeah. Hey, honestly, it's really exciting to see, a debut go so well. I mean, imagine being those players in their shoes, right? And having a day start off so well. Oh, it's exhilarating.
I think it's quite nice as well for, at least in my opinion, the fact that we get debuts now, Johnny, and it's like, all right, we can celebrate these players debuting, because as we got up and running with this fight, it was like, all right, how many players are debuting today? 20. Okay, fantastic. Let's see what notes I've got them. They've not done anything yet.
Yeah, of course, we're loving the success from Vertigo, as we had the honor of casting them in one of their very first competitive tournaments, a small tournament in the UK, where they actually beat some RLCS veterans at the time in the grand final. And this is when they were complete unknowns to us. So it's now great to see them continuing that grind. I think now more than half a year later, they're finally making an RLCS debut. That's what it's all about for the bubble scene. That's what it's all about for players when they come up. You've got to keep grinding. You can't just win a little tournament here and then, cash it in with a new monitor for yourself and say, okay, it's time to switch games. These players, they have to put in so much time in order to make that jump from bubble to pro.
It's always impressive as well to come through as a trio. Usually a lot of those rookie players coming in are sort of spotted as a team needs a replacement. But that they have stuck together, come in, they've got those results. Very, very impressive indeed. But over here, I think what has impressed me, Johnny, is the fact that this is a very unmoist-like performance from Moist. This has been calm. It's been controlled. I've not been worried every single second that something's going to go into the back of their net or somehow get double reset into the opponents. It's maybe not the greatest offensive showing we've seen from them, but if you wanted to showcase what Juicy was brought in for, this has probably been it. They're going to concede now, aren't they?
Well, if they did, that wouldn't have been... well, it would have been quite unlucky, I should say, the way the ball bounced straight out to G1, who were there to capitalize on it. This is maybe just a Moist that we've not seen for a while, pretty much since Vatira was on the roster. They've constantly looked brilliant going forward and extremely shaky at the back when they brought Astral in, and they still had Rise on the roster. But now they just look quite comfortable sitting in midfield. There's that urgency to advance as quickly as possible every time seems to be gone. I like to see that from Moist. The patience is there. They're just waiting for mistakes from G1. Of course, they are willing to go and punish them, take risks every now and then, but the risks make sense. I mean, what's the point of lunging in to take a speculative challenge while both teammates are going to grab boost? It just doesn't make any sense to do that. So Moist seem to be communicating brilliantly with their boost totals and what they want their teammates to be doing to allow them to be comfortable in the pitch around them.
Atomic takes over. Joyo and Juicy both sat back. And it's awkward, and they can't do anything about it. A great block on the backboard, killed all momentum on the ball. And enough for the follow-up.
That's just well done by Atomic. It's a very awkward shot to defend. Juicy just ended up on the wrong side of the ball, and in an attempt, I think, to back pass to Joyo at the end of that, just dropped it down to the middle past Joyo. So opening goal for G1. Well, that's a great fake by Joyo there to allow Juicy a free shot. It went sky high though. No problem for G1. This is one of the things that G1 can always rely on. Any one of their players, and this is something that's so common these days with all the teams at the top level, any one of their players can make that solo push that could take 2, even 3 players out of the game. Atomic doing all himself there, taking 2 players out of the game, leaving it open for Dorito.
Something that G1 are always going to probably have the upper hand on you over is just the speed of the second person, the follow-up. You've got a player like Mark, you've got a team that's almost going under his philosophy. That is always what Mark was so brilliant at. And now they just keep falling. It goes in. Yes, it does. Mark with the rare win and the rare read on that post. Usually doesn't tend to like the offensive player.
Well, he's done well. After missing the first shot, he's jumped off the back wall to pre-flip into the open net, or pre-flip into the ball to send it to the open net. But what a play by Dorito. I mean, he would have been really annoyed if Mark didn't score that, because the pass was phenomenal. And, it was all in Atomic's pass for the first goal. Now it's all in Dorito's pass for the second goal. It's been about the assists for G1 in Game 2.
It's a new wrinkle to their game that didn't quite see too much of last split. All the talk that we have about who's going to be the next queso. I mean, there's so many teams here that just needed that little bit of tweaking and something that they could become world stars. There's Astral forced to at least keep this game alive, but if that is going to happen, Moist need to find some offense. Moist need to find some players with enough boost to get rid of it. As Dorito steals yet another one away. Atomic, can he make it free? Not from that angle. He wants to give it a go. Time ticking away here, Johnny. And Moist have had no answers in Game 2.
Yeah, Moist a bit flat in this game and a bit stuck in defense here for Atomic to put in a third goal. That's every G1 player on the score sheet. Yeah, it's a go next kind of situation for Moist. They need to just settle down. I mean, they need to just try and control G1 when they're coming forward to try and get these outplays. Because if you look back to the first goal of this game, Atomic had a great assist, but he wasn't scoring that himself. There was not really a threat that he was going to score from that position. You look back at their second goal, Dorito, again, not really a threat that he's going to score from the position he's in. So sometimes you've just got to let those players make that touch and accept it as kind of a back pass. Because if the opponents take a bad shot at you and you're in net, that's the same as your teammate back passing the ball to you. You can just take control. So maybe Moist just need to look out for those commitments on those challenges, because G1 are clearly more interested in outplays than immediate shots at the moment.
We said earlier on that the worst Moist really wanted here was a 3-1 victory. It looks like this is the one that they could allow. After that, any dubs from here on, Leaf. I mean, this is not the only match happening over in Group B. We also made mention earlier on about Scotty Williams' resolve. How's that one going at the moment?
I'm glad you asked, because I was going to tell you anyways. And now it looks like you prompted me, and we're working together as a team here. They're about
smooth up until this point. It was so smooth.
They're about to sweep Solary. That's what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Solary. Today was the day, lads. Today was the day. Oh my goodness. Not like this.
What? After going 0-3, 0-3 twice, Williams Resolve have decided to turn on their monitors, and they're now winning. They're throwing a spanner in the works. That's crazy, because Solary, if they were coming up for a reverse sweep over Moist, you would never have expected them to fall apart against Williams Resolve for a 0-6 on the day.
Maybe this is the setup. Maybe they just only enjoy reverse sweeps.
That's a terrifying setup to put yourself in that kind of position, but sure. If that works for them.
Flipside's entire strategy at World Championships was to go into the lower bracket, there's clearly a line for this.
Fair enough. Liquid is also sitting match point against Quadrant right now, so they've had a bit of a turnaround on their day too.
Wow. All right. Well, everything going on at the moment, and again, we will try and keep you up to date. Leaf, please, if anything, just goes off, please interject, because
I will let you know.
We're at that point now in the group stage. We're also at the point, Johnny, where, all right, cool, we were impressed to start with the Moist defense. Now show us what we know you've always been able to do. Let's see that offense back again.
Yeah, you know, game 1, clean sheet. You can't ask for more than that. Then game 2, they conceded 4 times. So goals conceded per game. Not looking that great all of a sudden. Two per game after 2 games. After a clean sheet to open the match. That's well played by Astral. Good lead for Joyo. Mark's all over it though. And look how tightly knit G1 were on that clear together. You know, it's one of the things that you know, pros will often tell you. What's happening here?
Dearie dear.
I thought for sure this was going to be a save, but it's actually just gone straight into the net. I mean, Joyo's there. Karn's on the back wall, and he must have thought Juicy was behind him. I mean, there's no way that Joyo let that go through intentionally. He must have known, or he must have thought that Juicy had him covered, but realized too late that he was last man.
Okay, well, all of the compliments are out the window now. Moist, this needs improving. This is not what we were hoping to see from them. And now, one thing that was going well, also starting to see some cracks in it. Joysto? Oh, that's certainly an interesting one. That's a fusion of sorts. Joyo, or Joycey.
Do you want me to save you?
Please do.
Williams,
are we talking an actual save, or are we talking like a Joyo seeing the ball coming towards his net sort of save?
We're saying that I don't even know. I'm not clever enough to respond. Williams resolve 3-0. They beat Solar. Shut him down.
Wow. And 2-0. Atomic slams it in the top corner. It was pretty well open though. It's all about the assist again for G1. They are really putting it together with their assists. And like you mentioned last game, Shogun, you can always count on a second man being there when there's a full Spanish team on the pitch. They're always going to have that second man as close as possible. And even if it's not marked by 8, it's Atomic and Dorito. They're syncing up. Yeah, Moist needs something right now. They need it quickly.
Yeah, this style's always had the one drawback of the third man is open to getting either 2 versus 1 or demoed, but if you're G1, you don't care about that. You just keep putting this sort of offense forward, then the third man's never going to be under threat because you're about to reset the kickoff real soon. Joyo now to the backboard. Are we going to get a goal as Juicy moves on in? It's a little bit late when it came under pressure. Drop down pass from Joyo to the net. Moist Esports bounce back.
Oh, it's a great pass from Astral. Juicy a bit late as third man, couldn't shoot that himself, but look at the pass from Astral, just blindly dropping it to the left as Joyo comes in behind him. That's the synergy Moist have needed. We want to see confidence from Juicy here. The worst thing that could happen for him and for Moist as a whole is that he starts to panic and starts to sit overly deep, because when you're conceding a lot of goals like this, it's an easy mistake to make, to just think, well, we better just sit in net, we better just sit back and do nothing. But no, you need to go forward as a unit. You need to defend as a unit. That's where G1 have really outplayed Moist today. It's when they've gone forward, they've all been there. When they need to defend, yeah, you've got the whole team here to defend. There's no isolated players. Moist leaving each other just a little bit more isolated now, a little bit more disjointed in this game than they would like to be.
Oh, good pass. Juicy went for the shot, but straight into the path of Mark by 8. 2 minutes left now. Are we going to see G1 get that second game? Atomic off the backboard leaves it for Mark. What a shot that is. Just couldn't quite get the power. Almost put it behind the goalkeepers, though. Now back to Mark, who still can't find the net. But this is very reminiscent of that first Moist goal. Just keep the offense going. That's so impressive to not waste any of these opportunities.
And once again, it's these little passing plays in quick succession. G1, not for the first time this game, able to play so close together but not double commit. They're not running into each other's way. They're not hitting the ball away from each other, just reading each other perfectly. Oh dear, though, that's not the kickoff they need though.
I kind of like, what on earth happened?
Well, yeah, it looks like Moist have close cheated and Mark's turned up the line after grabbing the boost in the back corner, so he couldn't make it to the goal. I mean, it's quite simply a bad half flip by Mark. He's got to be going back towards the net there. There's no other decision to make if you're going to try and kill the ball middle.
Let Moist get one of these every single tournament. There's just always a kickoff goal there. definitely a team maybe I think of the most when it comes to that sort of thing, especially maybe benefiting off it the most.
Yeah, you know, from Moist's perspective, it's not a bad thing to do. You're down by 2, things are going against you. You've got to take that risk. And look at the composure from Astral, catching the ball in his own goal line. He ran into Joyle though.
As well.
In their attempt to create some chaos that G1 won't be able to deal with, Moist have actually just blocked each other. So once again, G1 showing that they're levels above in terms of being able to communicate and read each other in those close quarters. Moist don't have that synergy yet.
1 minute left. Astral. Joyo can give chase to this, but that's not how he wanted to see that ball come towards him. Juicy up. He's beat the first player. It's off the post. And I don't know if Dorito knew enough about that. But still, that 1-goal lead holds in place. And now a little bit of miscommunication from Moist. They've lost offensive possession. Might just get it back. Astral looking for Joyo. Not going to happen. Atomic loitering in midfield. 30 seconds. Juicy looks to try and make himself a hero.
Yeah, perfect first touch there by Juicy, but G1 have played perfectly in defense to stop him. Just lining up their players, making it just setting up an impossible gauntlet for Juicy to get through. That demo from Joyo gives him a bit of space. No flick infield to Astral, who misses. That was the opportunity. Moist managed to put it all together there. It's not done yet. Astral's pre-jump in, Joyo's infield pass, but it's cut off again. Infield door is thoroughly shut, and G1 take game 3.
Wow. I mean, Moist put it back together towards the end there, but too much work to do. And it's going to be painful to rewatch that opportunity back. The pass just a little bit too far in front. And it does go 2-1 to G1. Leaf, you've had the Hawkeye on every single match that's happening.
And
What's happening?
We've not yet had many more results besides that pending 3-0 sweep for Team Liquid. It did come true.
Speed run.
Alongside the other matches as well. One to keep an eye on if you guys aren't watching it. Carmine Court Vitality Game 5. Yeah, they're in Game 5 right now, and it's pretty close.
How's the Sonic Star match going at the moment?
The Sonics match is Sonics being down. So Suz on match point against Sonics.
Ooh.
That would eliminate if they eliminate Sonics,
whoever loses that series.
Yeah, well, Sonics are on the verge of being eliminated as well. I mean, it's just such a stacked event here. A ton of teams who played really well in qualifying are now on the brink of being eliminated.
Joyo called in after his teammate was bumped. Moist needs to win 2 games in a row here. Otherwise, G1 both booking a very solid day number 1 for themselves. 3-0 on the day. And also get to take the rest of the day off. They can just watch everybody else fight for their tournament lives. And Dorito, he likes the sound of that.
Yeah, it's the time for a little siesta over in Spain. It's, you know, there's well too late in the day to be thinking about playing a round 1 match. Let's just skip round 1, get right into the quarterfinals. That's the advantage that the winners of the groups have in this splits format. And it's an advantage which looks like they could be taking. The way things are headed right now, Moist have really lacked that firepower that they're always known for. It's been a very flat performance from them, and they've not been able to make up for that with synergy. They've not been able to make up for that with, you know, the kind of defensive showing they had in game 1. Just nothing to write home about in the second half of the series for Moist.
I want to give a lot of credit of that over to G1 because we see this sort of play style result in us criticizing the other team in the same way an awful lot. I think we used to have the same sort of thing with the old BDS Grand Finals. It was like, wow, the other team just didn't show up. It's like, no, this team just plays so fast that you look flat. You look like you've got nothing going for you. And I think G1 have done a great job at that. And if this is the way that they are going to play, they will crush a lot of teams out there, and some very good ones at that.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we've heard many times be told us or told about BDS from their opponents over the years. You know, their opponents in a post-match interview after getting destroyed by BDS say, well, what are you supposed to do against a team who can read each other that well? They just seem to know exactly where the ball's going every time their teammates make it a touch on it, way before anyone else can figure it out. That's what G1 have done well today. I'm loving their synergy in the close quarters. These long looping passes these days, they get cut off more often than not in Rocket League. If you're not on a counter-attack, if you're just sending the ball downfield at a defensive team, they're going to cut it off. If you send in at long-range infield, again, easy interception these days. But G1 have had those little passing plays. They're reading each other very well, and some of them aren't even passes to create opportunities. They're just keeping the ball away from Moist. They're keeping the ball away from the danger area, limiting Moist opportunities. Like that. That's phenomenal. Look at the vision and look at the synergy. I mean, thank you, G1, for the timing. I was trying to think of an example to tell you guys about.
I compliment Moist on their defense and they lose 4-0. Okay, I see how this is.
I have some elimination news.
Ooh.
The team of Rizex, Raziers, and Casio have been defeated by Vertigo, 3-1. Vertigo,
Leaf's favorite team.
Oh my.
coming in hot today.
That's
their group
debut team. Wow, 2 wins in their debut RLCS group against one of the most stacked lineups of all time. Oh dear, Moist. Almost conceding another one there. Congratulations, Vertigo. Hopefully we'll see more of them later, but they're through. And in a pretty stacked group as well. It's a group of 2 teams from the Rotterdam Major in there. They managed to beat one of them.
Incredibly impressive over on that. And we've also been incredibly impressed by what we have seen over here on the mainstream. Quick reminder as well, if those of you out there have been hearing the Leaf talk and think, you know what, I want to go and see some of that matchup. Actually, Leaf really sold that to me. Absolutely can. Almost all of these are being streamed with, K Astral got enough power on it. You can also see this match from these orgs POV as well.
That's a big 50-50 win there from Joyo. Astral stuck around in the corner after making the first push himself. And Joyo just did enough. He got just a bit of a faster aerial than the defender. That gave him the height on the 50-50 mid-air to send it over the top of him. Joyo and Astral linking up in offense. Not for the first time today. Hopefully for my sake, not for the last time today as well.
Well, again, 1 minute left. 1 goal the difference. Atomic wants to make it 2. Dorito was wiped out the goalkeeper. Couldn't quite find purchase. But when G1 get offense, it feels like we are just stuck here. It's like a guarantee, at least 30 seconds, we are going to be on this side of the field. There's 18 of them that time around. Blue and clear. Astral, time to take it on the bounce. Pops over the top of Mug. That's so impressive. Now his team's got the opportunity. Joyo couldn't make it to the ball. Astral even found the bump on the goalkeeper. That was a lot of work for very little payoff.
Yeah, time's out getting away from Moist. They need to just send caution to the wind. Go all in the next few seconds. The G1 are squandering all their opportunities. Mark just advances right into that pocket in the center of the field, knowing exactly what Moist's intentions were. Will they even get another shot on target before the end of the game? No, they won't. G1, 3 games in a row, have swept the group.
They've done it in incredibly impressive fashion. G1 were just, put to the side after they didn't qualify for the major. Now that we are back up and running, then so are they. Congratulations to them and Leaf. Is there anything else that has happened, or are we calming down a little bit?
We're starting to calm down. German Amigos do take the L against Oxygen. It was 3-1 for Oxygen Esports. BDS shutting down Guild 3-1. So that Group D has completed there as well. And then I think all the results just ended up coming in. Vitality proven to be the stronger of the French teams against K-Corp. They win in Game 5, 3-2.
Well.
Yeah.
There is competition for that title then. I love the idea of that. We've seen us versus France for the longest time. It's time for France to understand how it feels to take on France.
And I'm also...
that means the Karmi Corp are going to need to play again today as well, which is something they probably didn't expect.
Checking out Sonics. I was telling you they were staving off match point against Saw there. They managed to do that, and they do take themselves the victory. That was a tight run for them, though. For Game 5, 3-2, they do take that, which I believe means they stave off of elimination, and Saw will end up in that spot for Group A. Solary takes the elimination in Group B. That will be Tundra in Group C, and I'm just waiting on numbers here for Group D. That would be
Surrey missing out on that spot off a 1 game difference. That is off a sweep. Like, just anything other than what they did would have maybe been enough.
That was Guild that takes elimination Group D. I'm curious, was that the team you guys would have had as the elimination? I feel like It's
not because the Guild are a bad team. I think Guild, if they get a bit better of a group draw next time, I expect them to be back, and I expect them to be making it out of the group stage in one of these regionals, whether it's regional 2 or 3. That's just a really, really stacked group. German Amigos really showed up today as well. That was the one team you're thinking, okay, maybe that's winnable for Guild, or maybe if BDS have a bad day, but tough group, and Guild take the L's.
And that means, over in Group C, you called it earlier, Johnny. Team Liquid's going to be taking that bye on through to the next day, so they don't have to worry about playing next year. Speaking of, we do have our first round of the playoff bracket coming on its way, where we just have to figure out which teams are going to be where, and then we'll be back with a lot more of those matches. So one more round of Rocket League here for day 1. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you on the other side of the break.